Houston, Texas, 1973. A city shaken by fear, families searching for missing children, and a police force struggling to connect the dots. Behind the walls of a quiet suburban home, one of America's most sadistic serial killers was at work. His name was Dean Corll, known to neighbors as the friendly man who gave out candy, but remembered today as the infamous Candyman Killer. From 1970 to 1973, Corll lured young boys with candy, money, and promises of fun. What awaited them inside his home was torture, brutality, and death. At least 28 young lives were stolen, making it one of the most horrific murder sprees in U.S. history. But this story is not just about Corll, it's about the teenager who stood by his side, the boy who should have been a victim but instead became his accomplice. His name was Elmer Wayne Henley Jr. At just 15, Henley was recruited by Corll with the promise of $200 for every boy he brought to the house. To a kid from a poor neighborhood, it was easy money. But what Henley did not realize, or perhaps refused to admit, was that he was delivering his own friends to their dads. For years, families reported their sons missing. Posters went up, parents pleaded with police, but too often their cries were dismissed as runaway cases. Meanwhile, Henley and another teenager, David Brooks, kept bringing victims to Corll. The killing continued, and seen and unchecked. Everything changed on the night of August 8, 1973. Henley arrived at Corll's house with his girlfriend and a friend. Instead of welcoming them, Corll turned violent, tying them up, furious that Henley had broken his rules. It was then that Henley made a choice that stunned the world. He turned the gun on his master. 6 shots rang out. Dean Corll, the Candyman Killer, was dead. What came next was even more shocking. Henley walked into a police station and confessed everything. He described the murders, the torture, the bodies. He led officers to shallow graves where victim after victim was uncovered. The scale of the horror was finally revealed. Parents who had begged for answers for years were now given the most devastating truth imaginable. Henley was not seen as a hero for killing Corll. He was charged, tried, and convicted as a murderer himself, admitting to his role in at least 6 killings. In 1974, he was sentenced to 6 life terms. To this day, he remains behind bars, reflecting on the choices that turned him from a boy into a killer's apprentice. His rare interviews raise haunting questions. Was he a victim, brainwashed and manipulated? Or was he a predator who embraced evil? Psychologists call his case one of the most disturbing intersections of fear, survival, and complicity.